TypeScript is more enjoyable in Node than it is in UI code. This is a tweet from Adam Wathan, and do you know what? I see why people would say this, but I'm going to extend this to say that all code is more enjoyable on the back end than it is in the UI. Why is that? Control of your environment. If you're writing back-end code and then the very first thing that you decide is where is this code going to run? Is it running on a web server or in a cloud function? Or what framework does that environment have installed? And what version of Node.js or Ruby on Rails or whatever is it using? And then you simply recreate that exact environment on your local development machine and you're off. This is even more true now that we have containerization with things like Docker. If you can compose your backend into a Docker container and it works on your machine, the chances of that working in the environment that you deploy it to are pretty high. On the front end, however, well, that all goes completely out of the window. If you're writing a JavaScript or a TypeScript web application, that is going to be essentially downloaded to your user's browser and run in their environment. Well, you basically have no control over where that code will run. Your users might visit your website in Chrome or in Firefox, but they also might visit your website in a 10-year-old Android smartphone running Samsung browser in landscape mode or something like that. And although tools like BrowserStack do exist for testing, it is essentially impossible to test your front end on every single device and every single software configuration that every one of your users will have. And that is a pain. And for front-end developers, they've been feeling that pain for years and years and years. And you know what? It doesn't look like that's going to go and stop anytime soon. So if we want to create universally accessible web applications that work for as many users as possible, then this problem is always going to exist to some extent. So how do we mitigate this issue? Well, one of the ways is to focus on progressive enhancement. This involves starting with a very simple, basic level of user interface that works across all browsers, including the really old ones, and then progressively adding more advanced features that enhance the experience on more modern browsers. So this approach ensures that everyone can access the basic content and the functionality of your website, no matter what device or browser they're using. Also, the use of responsive design principles is really important as well. So this means designing your UI in such a way that it can adapt or respond to different screen sizes and different orientations. Using CSS media queries like this allows you to change your layout dynamically, and that ensures your web application is as usable on a small smartphone screen as it is on a large desktop monitor. Accessibility is also key. Making your site easy to use for people with disabilities not only makes your site better for them, but it also improves it for everybody else as well. This involves using clear HTML, semantic HTML tags in HTML5, and making sure that your site can be navigated with a keyboard, with keyboard shortcuts and the tab key working properly. And it also needs to work well with screen readers. So in short, while making websites that work for every device and every browser is very hard, using simple design and responsive layouts and feature checking and focusing on accessibility can really help, and it can really help to bring the joy back into front-end development. It's about being thoughtful in how we build websites, and it is worth making the web more welcoming for everybody in the process. So yeah, while I do agree with the general sentiment that TypeScript is more fun on the back end, I do think there's actually a lot more potential on the front end if you can get around these things like browsers inconsistencies. By the way, if you want to learn TypeScript on the front end, I have recently published an interactive tutorial on my website, traintocode.com, and that helps you write TypeScript in React.js. So you can go through these lessons, and each one of these lessons has an interactive exercise, including lessons that show you how to use TypeScript with a bunch of popular React libraries, such as Next.js or Style Components or Redux. There's also this AI assistant on there that uses ChatGPT to help you out if you get stuck along the way. So check this out, I'm really excited about it and I'm keen to hear how you get on with that. You'll find a link to this course down in the description. If you have any comments or questions, then ask away in the comments box below on this YouTube video. And like always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and I'll see you in the next video.